A mindful approach to weight loss. Intermittent fasting, low carb, high protein, keto, or paleo, they're all popular weight loss diets that promise to help you lose weight. But take a second to consider that maybe we've been approaching weight loss the wrong way. Rather than focusing on the body, what if we were to focus on our mind? Could that be the key to looking deeper at what's driving our decisions to eat? And could it be the difference in not only losing weight, but also keeping the weight off? I challenge you to consider, is your mind full, or instead, are you being mindful? There's a constant struggle for people to lose weight, but then end up gaining the weight back. It's not as simple as calories in versus calories out, and in truth, obesity is quite complex. In this depiction, it represents a literal tug of war. The body's response to weight loss makes it hard to maintain the progress. Science shows that after losing weight, the body does try to put it back on. Additionally, the body's metabolism slows down and appetite hormones change, making you feel more hungry and less full. People need help beyond just the number on the scale and instead look at ways to improve other areas of one's health, with a focus on not only our diet, so the food that we eat, but also our sleep patterns, our movement, and our stress and mental health. There's been a growing body of research that is now starting to look at mindfulness and mindful eating and any impact on weight that there might be. The question is, will adding mindfulness-based eating and stress management practices to a diet exercise program help to improve weight loss and other areas of health? In this study, there were 194 adults with obesity. They both received the same diet and exercise guidelines. However, the one group received mindfulness-based eating along with stress management practices, such as focusing on physical hunger and fullness cues, taste satisfaction, and eating triggers. By 18 months, the mindfulness group lost 4.2 kilograms in comparison to the control group losing 2.4 kilograms. The authors noted it was not a significant difference. However, the authors noted that there were other areas that did show a marked improvement. Fasting glucose levels decreased by 4.1 milligrams per deciliter, and this was also because the control group increased by 2.5 milligrams per deciliter. The triglyceride level showed a decrease of 14.3 milligrams per deciliter in the mindfulness group, with minimal change in the control group at just 3.4 milligrams per deciliter. Overall, the more meditation and/or mindful eating practices, the greater weight loss was noted, along with lower triglyceride levels and lower fasting glucose levels, both of which help to reduce the risk for developing type 2 diabetes. Focusing on just the number on the scale may not give the full picture of overall health benefits received by practicing mindfulness. We know that weight loss can be effective in helping to reduce obesity-related comorbidities like cardiovascular disease, metabolic syndrome, and more. And we know that there are a variety of effective weight loss strategies that do exist. However, maintenance of weight loss in the long term is hard to do as the body tries to put the weight back on. People with obesity typically regain a third of the weight lost by the end of the first year, and by 3 to 5 years have frequently returned to their baseline weight. It's important to look at treatments that will address the underlying reasons why people are gaining the weight back. Some preliminary research shows that psychological factors, particularly stress and depression, are contributing reasons. In this study reviewed, there were 52 participants that had previously lost weight and were subsequently grouped into either a mindfulness-based stress reduction group or a healthy living course group. The solid lines are representing the mindfulness-based stress reduction group, and they're showing the change over time in the functional connectivity in the areas of the amygdala and prefrontal cortex of the brain. This is the area that helps to regulate our emotions. This study helps to provide the evidence that mindfulness training leads to an increase in resting state functional connectivity. And even though this change didn't lead to other clinical outcomes, it does provide some association with people's depression symptoms, and that can be quite relevant as it relates to keeping the weight off. Once again, less focus on the number on the scale and more focus on our mind. What exactly is mindful eating? Mindful eating is a concept and practice that's centered around being present while making choices around the food that we eat. Simply put, it means paying attention to our food on purpose, moment by moment, without judgment. Mindful eating is not a diet. Rather, the purpose of mindful eating isn't to lose weight, but rather help individuals savor the moment and the food and be fully present for their eating experience. How do you get started with mindful eating? One technique used is to move through your senses while eating. This activity is a common one seen throughout studies to help people begin to focus and create awareness not only on how the foods taste, but also being able to sense their hunger and fullness cues. So first, moving through the senses, you would use your sight. How does the food appear? What is the presentation like? Does it seem appealing? Second, you would smell the food. What is the primary aroma? Does the smell make you hungry or is it a turnoff? Can you identify any of the ingredients in the dish simply by the smell? You'd listen to the food. How does it sound when you eat it? Is it crunchy, crispy, or crackly? You'd next feel the food, the touch, its texture. Is it soft, hard, dry, moist, dense, or chewy? Is it scalding hot, ice cold, room temperature, or lukewarm? Lastly, you would taste the food. Is it sweet, salty, sour, bitter, or umami, which is also savory? What is that main flavor? And again, can you identify any of the ingredients simply by taste? Mindful eating is a practice. The previous activity is something you can try at your next meal. Practice it throughout the week at different meals. Know that not every meal will you be able to practice mindfulness, but the idea here is to create more awareness around the reasons why you're eating, along with helping to identify your hunger and fullness cues. A few other tips to help you practice mindfulness at your next meal. Ditch the distractions, including screens when you're eating. So turn off the TV, keep your phone off the dinner table, and step away from your computer. Eat slowly and chew your food thoroughly. Check in halfway through your meal to assess how you're feeling. Are you still hungry or are you beginning to feel full? Really pay attention to how the food you're eating makes you feel. Do you feel energized? Are you sleepy? Did that meal or snack keep you full, or are you hungry right afterwards? Drop the judgment. Eating mindfully can be complex and it takes time. Remember, this is a practice that will help you to create more awareness. Being mindful means paying close attention, being aware or careful of what is happening in the moment. Simply put, mindfulness is being present. By practicing mindfulness, it helps you to notice what's happening inside your mind and your body, all while creating awareness of what's happening around you. When you're being mindful, the key is not to label or judge what's happening. There are several ways it's thought that mindfulness can help you to lose weight. Mindfulness can help provide clarity to make better choices. Mindfulness helps to bring a calm mind, which in turn can help you to see things more clearly. This doesn't mean that you'll always make the better choice, but it does help to create awareness of what you're doing when you're doing. Mindfulness can help provide greater self-control. If you're trying to change certain behaviors that have developed over time, it's essential to have the ability to have self-control. Mindfulness helps to address your stress. Stress is one of the #1 reasons people turn to food. When we look to calm our emotions, this will allow us to be more resilient when facing stressors. Food can be a coping mechanism when we're faced with stress. However, it shouldn't be the only coping mechanism. Mindfulness helps to overcome emotional issues. If you have emotional issues that you've been carrying for some time, it can lead to overeating. As mindfulness is practiced, some studies showed no weight loss. However, in other studies, the more meditation practices there were, the more weight loss was achieved. Interestingly of note, in those that didn't practice mindfulness, some even gained weight. Mindfulness takes time and is a practice. Initially, the number on the scale might not budge. However, given time and effort, the effect is seen. Mindfulness has been around for over 2,500 years and only recently has started to gain popularity. It is a safe, effective, and affordable inclusion as part of a weight management program. The research studies confirm that there are benefits beyond just weight loss when we practice mindfulness. Once we begin to see past the number on the scale and focus on our mind, we begin to see lower stress levels, better physical and mental health, better relationships, improved cognitive abilities, and maybe, just maybe, the number on the scale will budge towards weight loss versus weight gain. Is your mind full, or are you being mindful? It might make a difference in your weight loss journey.